Hey my loves, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Shein and today I'm going to be showing you guys how I achieved this makeup look. If you're new here, you're free to join the family by subscribing if you like what you see, and if you're a returning subscriber, I love you girl. I love you Zana. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Let's get into it. So first go in with our primer. I'm using the Jelly Grip primer from Essence and just applying it all over my face generously, and make sure it dries before I go in with my foundation. Once it's dry, I go in with my foundation. I'm using the Sivimak foundation in the shade Honeyhomb and the Lumimatte foundation by Maybelline in the shade 340. I just love mixing the two because it gives me the perfect finish, but you can use any foundation that you have. You just have to make sure that it's matching your neck or your chest area if you have a dark neck like me. So you just apply it and then start tapping it in. You do not swipe the product. So in this case, I was using a foundation brush because it always gives me more coverage, but if you prefer, you can use a beauty blender and just make sure that it's damp before you use it. And guys, here's a tip for you. You can use your setting spray in between your stubs to give you that longevity, and also your face will be looking smoother. So yeah, you just blend that in. And for blush, I'm using my lipstick, which is the Superstay Vinyl Ink by Maybelline. I love this lipstick as a blush. It just gives me that I love it. So when you're applying your blush, make sure you apply it on top of your cheekbones. Don't drag it out or don't drag it down, because that's just gonna make you look droopy. You just want to lift your face like that. Yeah, so once you're done with your blush, you go in with your concealer, which is 2 shades lighter than your skin tone. Don't apply it too close to your under eye, just leave a small gap there to avoid creasing. So you want to highlight all the places where you want to be more noticeable, which is like the under eye, your forehead, your nose, and your chin, just like I did right there. And you also want to reverse contour your face using your concealer by applying it under your cheekbones like I did right there, and just blend it out nicely. You just have to blend it downwards, not upwards. So you want to start blending everywhere else before you blend your under eye. This is just to give it more time to set, and it's going to give you more coverage. To blend your under eye, you want to use a smaller, fluffier brush like that one, and start by blending the outer parts of the concealer. And on the outer corner of your eye, you want to blend going upwards, because you want to snatch your face and just give it a lift. So whenever you feel like you applied too much product, just go in with your dry beauty blender, because it tends to suck in the product, and then you're left with just enough, not too much, especially on the under eye. You don't want to flood it because it's just gonna cause creasing. So you just want to apply the right amount of concealer under your eyes. Once you're done blending the under eye, you want to make sure that you set it immediately. So before you move on to the other side, we're going to set our under eye using the Yadley translucent powder. And since it's a loose powder, we're going to rub it on the back of our hand and then remove all the excess, and then just tip it in like that. We then move on to the other side and do the same thing. Blend and set it immediately before it starts creasing. Once we're done with that, we just get a fluffier brush and set the rest of our face before we start contouring. For contour, I'm using this contour palette that I got from Bling. You can use a darker shade of powder that you have and just apply that on top of your cheekbones. Do not drag it down because you want to lift your face, so you want to put it on top of your cheekbones and on the edges of your face, meaning your forehead and just under your chin. For nose contour, you use a smaller brush and just apply the contour where your eyebrow starts and just blend it down. We're using a powder that's 2 shades darker than our skin tone. Make sure to blend as much as you can. We want to make it look as seamless as possible. We don't want to make it obvious, and then your lines have to be as close as possible to each other to avoid making your nose look bigger. Once we're done, we go in with our blush. I'm using my eyeshadow palette that I got from Dischem. You can use your eyeshadow palette as your blush palette. Honestly, it's just the same thing. And once we're done, we just set our face. We're using our Maybelline Lasting fix. Moving on to eyebrows, I'm using this eyebrow soap that I got from Shein. You can use a soap, a regular soap, just a bar soap, and just brush your eyebrows going up like I'm doing right there, and just press them down to make sure that all the hair is laid. So you want to use your powder to just set that in place and make that surface dry so that it's easy for you to draw your eyebrows. To draw my eyebrows, I'm using this Million Powling gel liner. You can use an eyebrow pencil if you prefer. Just make sure it's sharp. And yeah, I'm showing you where your eyebrow should end. That's where your eye ends, and where you curve is where your pupil ends. And then for where it starts, you just start where your natural eyebrow starts. You start by drawing a line under your eyebrow, just like that, and you just follow the natural shape of your eyebrow and then draw another line on top. Make sure that you're not putting too much force or you're not pressing it down too much. Just use a very little force, and then you start filling your eyebrows in. Once you feel like the shape that you have is the shape that you want, you start filling in your eyebrows like that, using very light strokes. Once we're done filling in this one, we move on to the other one. So we start by drawing a line under our eyebrows. Where the eye ends, that's where the eyebrow ends. Where your pupil ends, that's where your eyebrow curves. And then where it starts is where your natural eyebrow starts. What's more important though is to follow the shape of your natural eyebrow. Always make sure to check if your eyebrows are looking the same. If they are not, then you just change the one that you do not like to look as similar as possible to the one that you like. And to clean up our eyebrows, we're using a flat brush. We apply our concealer on both sides and then start cleaning it up. You use a concealer that's 2 shades lighter than your skin tone, preferably the one that you used on your under eye. And do not point your brush like that. You just want to lay it flat like that and clean up your eyebrow. For where your eyebrow starts and on top of your eyebrow, you want to go in with a darker shade of concealer or the foundation that you used and just clean it up to avoid having that white line on your eyebrow. You want to take your time when you're doing this, just like I'm doing. I'm going back and forth and making sure that everything is as perfect as it can get. Like, you don't want to just draw the line at once, because that's gonna make you just make mistakes and stuff. So you want to go in slowly, take your time, and then once you're done, you start blending using your small fluffy brush. Moving on to our eyeshadows, we go in with our base before we start applying our eyeshadows. You can use a light concealer if you don't have an eyeshadow primer, and just blend it into our eyelids. Make sure to blend it until it looks as seamless as possible, just like I did there. This is just to make our eyeshadows pop a little bit more. And yeah, just blend it using your small fluffy brush. For my eyeshadow, I'm going in with this contour palette that I used earlier on, and just picking that brown on my outer corner and just blending it out. Make sure to blend your eyeshadow thoroughly like I'm doing. I'm using a smaller brush to just buff out the edges of the eyeshadow. And for the inner corner, you just go ahead and apply a little bit of the brown on top of your crease, just on top of your crease, and blend that out. As you can see, I'm blending it in to my nose contour. Your eyeshadows shouldn't go up to where your eyebrow is. Just focus on the lower part. And then once I'm done, I go in with my eyeshadow. I'm using this eyeshadow shimmer and just packing it in on the inner corner like that, and just blending it out using the brown eyeshadow. Once that is well blended, I then move on to the other side using the same brown I got in on the outer corner of my eye and also on the inner corner, but on top of my crease, and then blend it out into my nose contour. I then go in with the shimmer, and once I'm done, I just start lining my eyes using this Maybelline liner in the color black. Your line must be as small as possible, so as you start as close as possible to the lash line, and as you go outwards you make it look a bit bigger but not too big, just like I'm doing in the video. You also want to do this very slowly because you don't want to mess up your line. You can also use a liquid liner. When I get to the end, I didn't want a very sharp line, so I just blend that out into my eyeshadow. I'm going to write every product that I used in this video in the description box, so make sure to check that out. I then went ahead and did the same thing to the other side. Once I'm done, I then go in with the same eyeliner and just line my waterline. Make sure to not hurt yourself when you're doing this. Just be as gentle as possible and do it very slowly. Do not rush. I then go in with my mascara. I'm using this one from Maybelline and just apply it on the top lashes. We are not applying on the bottom lashes yet. And then we're going with our lash glue, and make sure to apply it on both your eyelid and your eyelash strip. This is just gonna make them stick better and for longer. To apply your lashes, you want to put your mirror down and just look down into it, and then just apply your eyelash as close as possible to your natural eyelash line, like that. And just like I'm showing you guys, your mirror, it goes down and then you look into it. That way you're just gonna see where you should put your eyelash. Don't leave a gap between the natural eyelash and a fake eyelash. Just like that. It's easier like that. And once it's dry, you go in with your fingers and just press it into your natural eyelash. And once you're done, you go ahead and put your mascara on your bottom lashes like that, side to side, just like I'm doing there. Moving on to our lips, you want to make sure your lips are dry before you go in with your liner. I'm using this one from Shein and just aligning my lips. I just have to tuck in my lips like that so I can see what I'm doing, and also when I want to overline, it's easier for me that way. Once I'm done applying my liner, I'm going in with the Superstay vinyl ink from Maybelline in the shade 135 Fearless and just going over my lip liner. For the center of my lips, I'm using this Superstay vinyl ink in the shade 105 Golden and just apply it on the center of my lips like that. And then just wait for it to dry and go over it with my lip gloss. I'm using this one from Dischem. And look at that. I love this lip combo, guys. Like, wow. I love this lip combo, guys. I then go in with my highlighter. You just highlight the cheekbones, the bridge of the nose, and the tip of the nose, depending on what you like. So I decided to just cut the eyeshadow, the edge of the eyeshadow, because it wasn't giving what I wanted it to give. So I just went ahead and just used my translucent powder from Krylon and just applied it generously like that, and then just brush it off using my brush. You see the difference it makes. Yeah. And to lock everything in, make sure our makeup doesn't move, we go in with our setting spray. I'm using this Lasting Fix from Maybelline. I love it down. Like, girl, I can't do without this setting spray. Anyways, I just let it dry and we are done. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Love you. Bye.